What's up, guys? What's up, guys? It's your boy TSG, and this is UFC Smash Talk 4. I got a special guest today. I'm with my boy Billy Brenos, aka Bill Hirsch. That's his government name. If you're looking for him, you guys know where to look him up. He's an amateur boxer. He's a trainer, hell of a trainer. I've got some private sessions with you in the past, and I gotta say, man, it was worth it. It was worth it, absolutely. No problem. So he's with us today. We're gonna talk about some UFC. So anybody that's watching at the moment, apologize. We're gonna look at our phones for 1 second, and we're gonna do the tagging. Then we get to the plug-in. Then we're gonna get to the show.
Yeah, because I got to share this to my
exactly.
To my thousands of Facebook friends.
Yes, bring them all. Bring the army. Bring the Billy Brenos army.
Billy Brenos,
that right? Army. Yeah, I don't want to mess that up.
Brenos. Got
it. All right. I'm sharing it to the wrong page by accident. I'm almost ready myself. Interesting. Why is it not letting me share it to my... I usually do this through my phone. Let me do it from my phone. Oh, shit. You know what it's doing? It's not letting me tag my personal page. I know loophole.
Yeah, if you click on the actual... If you click on the actual video.
Yep.
That's what I just did.
Yeah, I'm about to do it now. Sorry, guys. I don't think anyone's on yet. Oh, we got 2 watchers. All right, so bear with us.
You want to know something? I think I might be one of the 2 watchers, bro.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I think I'm the other one because we tagging. Oh my God. All right, well, normally we get some people. Normally we're on a Tuesday night. We're doing a Monday for special circumstances. So, we may or may not get some viewership today, comments and whatnot. But me and Billy got a lot of comments about UFC because UFC's hot right now. UFC is real hot right now.
It's the only game in town.
Yeah, that's
nothing else to watch.
Yeah, our options are very limited. All right, I'm good to go. I could focus now. Sorry about that, listeners. I'll check the comment section if anyone commented. Guys watching, drop a comment whenever. You guys already know what to do. All right, so here we go. UFC Smash Talk. So this Saturday was UFC 250. So first and foremost, give me your initial thoughts on UFC 250.
My thoughts on UFC 250. I mean, I started watching during the Brian Kelleher fight because that's what I was really tuning in for. That was like the main event for me. I was excited to see him fight.
You guys are buddies, right?
Yeah, I mean, I worked with him boxing for like probably 10 months. Like our last session was in March, like right before the all the outbreak, and I was kind of I was spooked, man. I was spooked. I was scared at first, so I stopped doing personal training. And then he got that fight. I don't even remember who he fought. That he got that knockout.
Right?
Yeah, when he got that left hook knockout.
There was so many UFC events back to back. I can't think of the name too, but yeah, he's a hell of a fighter because he's fighting back to back fights pretty much.
Yeah, and I was hitting him up like a freaking like an ex-girlfriend that's seeing, like, that was an awesome fight, so you did good. When are we gonna train again?
Yeah, absolutely.
I was jumping on all his live videos and shit. I was asking questions. I was like, notice me.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah. When the time is right, I'm definitely gonna try to get him on the show. I met him a few times. I don't even know if he'll recognize me, but I've met him a few times, and I've done like video stuff and interviews with like some of his like older teammates and shit. Seems like a cool guy. Hopefully, I'll get to do some work with him on one of the shows. That left hook though, that check left hook from the last event was that shit was right on the money, man.
He hits hard, man. I'd be holding mitts for him, and I would feel it in my elbow, like the punch. In my elbow, I'll be shaking my arms out. I was like, damn, dude.
That last fight was dope. I'm sorry, not his very last fight on Saturday, but his fight right before that. Because in the first round, the guy kept coming at him real hot, putting a lot of pressure on him. He's still really composed, and he stood in the pocket. Even though he was like evasive and he held back a little bit, he stood in the pocket. Not a lot of fighters would do that. They'll be evasive, but in a retreating kind of way. He was ready to counterfight. Second round came, and he went at him, and that was right on the money. And then his fight on Saturday, that shit was a great war. Honestly, that was a good war. What you think of that fight?
Well, I think
I can't say the other guy's name. He fought
Cody Salmon or Stammen.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. No, I think if you notice, that fight was at featherweight, and I think Stammen filled out a lot more than Brian did. He looked like a big He was big.
That was the first thing I noticed, how big he was. He was really large for that division.
Thick, bro.
What's up, Drew? What's up, Drew?
What's good, bro? Yeah, his neck was wider than his jaw.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a good fighter. I mean, Stamann came out with some strong combos at first. I just think I think the weight played a big part. And when Stamann was pushing the pace on Bryan and landing shots on Bryan, it just seemed more there was just more behind the punches because of his because of his size. I mean, Cody Stamann's obviously a very talented fighter, but I do think if the fight was at 135, I do think it would have been closer.
Yeah,
and I believe if Bryan got a full camp in too, I think it would have been closer too. Because after the fight that he got the knockout, which was only like 4 weeks ago, he had stitches in the webs of his toes, man.
That's a nasty place to get a cut in between there.
Yeah, I can't imagine how much training he could have got done.
Not much at all. But Bryan's that kind of guy. He's a warrior. He don't give a shit. He just wants to fight. He wants his opportunity to shine.
Yeah, exactly. He saw the opportunity to fight someone in the top 10. And regardless of the outcome, I'm sure UFC and Dana White, I'm sure they noticed that. I mean, Dana White, I have to imagine Dana White notices Bryan more than some other fighters maybe in his position as far as rankings goes, because he was on the Contender Series. That's how he got into the UFC in the first place, and Bryan makes himself known.
Yeah,
so I know Dana has him on his radar for sure.
He's definitely super hungry. When you take fights back to back like that, and like you said, none of these guys get in fight camps. All the fights are short notice, and on top of short notice, his preparation time was also his recovery time from the last fight, which plays a major factor. The weight too, that man was huge. Honestly, when I saw him, I was like, he got to be one of the guys that cut like 20-25 pounds to make that division.
I heard I'm pretty sure Rogan or DC was talking about that he has a tough cut down to 135.
It got to be. There's all those muscles, he got to lose a lot of water weight. There's not much fat you can get rid of.
He had to have weighed he had to have weighed close to 160 that night. I mean, he ballooned up.
I felt so too. Yeah, I was thinking got to be in the 50s range, maybe even high 50s, close to that.
Yeah, 60. because Bryan tells me that Bryan has told me before that he'll come into his fights in the 50s by the time.
Yeah, that makes sense, definitely.
So I feel like Cody, he looked.
Yeah, he'd have to be a little bigger, like Bryan is he fits in his weight class well, in the sense of like he doesn't look emaciated when he cuts.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But he could get a little bigger. He wasn't too bad for the 145, but there was still a noticeable size discrepancy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That other guy was huge, thick, and with those muscles, he got to cut like not just 25 pounds. My assumption, and I don't know, I'm speculating, I'm assuming, I don't know the guy personally, but I'm willing to bet he cuts like 20 pounds of water weight, not like, what I mean? Not like fat. Yeah, he got to be one of those like really gangster type fighters that want to come in. Like he look like he should be in a whole nother weight class. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, with that said, Bryan never backed down. Bryan kept giving it to him.
Yeah, he kept going forward. Yeah, for sure.
I'm not Bryan's coach. I'm not Bryan, so I can't say, why the judges gave it to the other guy. But what I think might have occurred is so many instances during that fight when Bryan was throwing the kick, he was getting jammed up. And then the guy was using the opportunity to counter like 3 or 4 shots. So he was getting ahead on points. Or for all those like body kicks, leg kicks, Bryan kept throwing, but I'm not here to like speak on what went wrong. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't there. I don't want to speak on that. Bryan's a cool dude, and I hope to work with him in the future.
Yeah, no, I'm sure
but, we analytical and we shit talkers. we shit talk podcasts.
He watches this. He's like, bro, what the fuck?
Yeah, he's probably like, yo, fuck that dude.
Yeah, no. I thought he. I don't think he got outclassed or anything like that.
Yeah, I don't think so neither. I agree with you.
I don't think he got outclassed. I mean, he didn't.
It is what it is. The guy etched out more points. The other guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean,
so I hope to see him again. Absolutely. I think he's gonna get a shot right away because he's hungry, and Dana respects that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm sure.
And we know he's got power because he got 6 fights in the UFC, I believe, and at least 4 of them are wins with finishes, I believe. Right?
Yeah. I mean, if he had 20 more seconds, he would have finished Henan Barao when he fought him. I mean, I remember watching that fight. He was so close to finishing Henan.
He dominated Barao. He definitely dominated Barao in that fight.
Yeah, it seems, which Bryan will say it himself, he takes a little bit to get the gears moving. Like in that the most recent knockout, you know, the first round probably went the other guy's way. You know, he was kind of getting his range, but as soon as the second round started, it was like, okay, I know what you're gonna do. I could take your shots, you know, and he came through.
What's up, Pavlo 005? Is that you an agent? What's up to our YouTube community? He says Brian and Cody were kind of robbed for fight of the night. What do you think? Do you agree? Disagree?
Who won fight of the night?
I didn't check, but
if it was Nunes, I don't know.
Cody got performance, one of the performance of the nights. I'm not quite sure. Can you answer that question, Pav, if you're still listening? Because I don't honestly know who officially got fight of the night. But yeah, Cody's fight and Brian's fight would definitely be in that realm of contendership for fight of the night.
Yeah, no, it was super competitive.
Yeah,
you know,
super tight.
They were in each other's faces.
No one had fight of the night. All right, he answered our question. Thank you, Pav. No one had fight of the night. So I guess we had 3 performance bonuses. I'm assuming 1 went to Amanda, or 4. That's what he did. He split them up. That makes sense too, because fight of the night would be 2 bonuses. So if you're not gonna do a fight of the night, do 4 performance. Thank you for filling this in, Pav. Thank you. I didn't do my homework before this.
For some reason, I thought there was a delay on YouTube. I thought there was a delay.
There usually is. You can never determine which one's gonna get the delay. Sometimes it's me, or it's YouTube, or it's Facebook, with the comments, or just physically the recording. It's weird like that. They say it's because of the pandemic. Yeah, it's cool, right? You can show them. So the 4 performances, I'm gonna guess them. 4 performances of the night was definitely Mally, definitely Cody, definitely Amanda. Who you think got the other one? You think the leg kick knockout, Alex Perez?
Oh, must have, dude.
It had to be.
Two leg kick knockout. There was that great. There was that submission.
Which one?
Herman.
It was 2,
what was
right?
his name? Herman.
Oh, we got
Gilbert
the
Burns'
right
brother. Gilbert.
Nice, Pav. Yo, I don't know if it's Pav, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. I hope not. But you on your point. Thank you.
Perez, yeah.
You should get on the show one day. So Cody, Aljo, Sean, and Perez. I think that's respectable.
Yeah, no, for sure. There was a good Gilbert Burns' brother fought. I think he opened up the prelims.
Yeah,
and he got a nice submission. He had a really good trip.
Oh damn, that was the one fight I missed. I didn't get to see that.
Yeah, I think he got the trip, and that's how he got the submission. I'm pretty sure.
I know it was a night. There was so many finishes.
The Alex Caceres fight? You watched that, right? Dude, tell me he couldn't have finished him in the first 30 seconds.
There was 2 fights I missed. With the Alex fight, I actually had to stop and do a short podcast. So I was podcasting during that fight. But when I came back, everybody was like, "Bro, you picked the wrong fight to miss." I heard he treated Cooper like a punching bag.
For sure. And Cooper was game, man. He kept coming forward. You could tell he has like a future in the UFC or a future in MMA, period. Because you could tell he was not in Alex Caceres' realm as far as
and Cooper's no slouch too. That's crazy. I would have never expected that.
You should have saw Alex knocked him down maybe 30, 40 seconds into the first round, sat him down, dropped him down to 1 knee, and Alex just circled out, backed out, and let him recover. And then the fight ended up going to decision. It looked like he could have finished him there. But when Rogan asked him after the fight, like, what was your mindset? He said, "Oh, I've seen him in other fights get rocked before, and he ends up pulling off the submission, or, he didn't want to follow him down to the ground." But I don't know, in my opinion, from a like, you might not be able to see it when you're in there, but watching it, he looked, he was hurt, man. He was out of it.
I didn't see the fight, but my guess is Alex, when Alex first came into the UFC, he kind of was surging really fast. And he was impressive, he was exciting, and he was bold. And then he took his first loss, big knockout. I can't even recall who did it, but I know he got knocked out. And then after that, he came back a little bit more cautious. So he's probably just learned to play a little safer. It's hard to get over a knockout. It takes time. It messes with you psychologically.
I remember, I don't know if he was getting ready to fight Sergio, which he got a submission win over Sergio Pettis when Pettis was coming in, with a lot of, I think his brother was still champ, Anthony Pettis. That's how long ago it was. But I remember there was like an embedded, or what do they call the pre-fight when they take the video?
Road to the Octagon?
Yeah, the Road to the Octagon. And they were interviewing Alex, and he was talking about how he doesn't really want to be a champion, or at the time he didn't. he was kind of talking about that he didn't have all of it into MMA. Like he had other interests, or he didn't want to be in it for the long run or something. You know, I'm paraphrasing, and I remember hearing that, and as someone, I must have been 16, 17. I was thinking, I was like, oh, this guy doesn't want to be, champ. That's weird. But it seems like just after his last win, he was talking about, that he's ready to show the world, like, how good he's gotten, how he's gotten a little bit better each fight. So I would like to see him get, into, bigger fights and more into title contention.
One thing I can say is, hold on, I'll read this comment. The fight was his last on the contract. He needed that W so he could stay in the UFC. He didn't want to take a risk to go to the ground. That's definitely it'll definitely affect your psyche during a fight. So I can see that. I don't know what to think exactly. I didn't watch the fight, so it's really hard to pass the judgment I'm about to. But I seen it in his last fight, and I don't know if he's quite over the loss yet. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, he seems a little bit apprehensive. But I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It's just something I observe. And we see how it shapes him in the future.
When I was watching and the fight was over, I didn't know it was the last fight in his contract. That's interesting. But I was imagining Dana White watching it, getting pissed off that he didn't finish it when he had the chance and didn't jump on him when he had the chance to finish him.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine Dana was too – it was an impressive – he was impressive, in the way that he won, that he kind of really just outstruck him and outpointed him. But in my opinion, my amateur opinion, it was similar to when that guy Mike – I forget his name – fought
Perry? Mike Perry?
No. The guy who beat Punk last.
Oh, damn! His face is in my head.
Where he could have finished him. You know what I'm saying? Like where he could have finished him, but he ended up just like dragging it out.
Mickey Gall, right?
No, it wasn't Mickey Gall. Mickey Gall beat him first and finished him. But the guy he fought after, his name was like Michael something, and he didn't fight in the UFC.
Bunch Michaels.
I forget what his name was, but anyway, Dana was pissed off after because he could have finished Punk early on, and he ended up dragging it out. So, in my opinion, trying to kind of knowing
fight that Punk. I'm sorry, I know you're talking about now.
So, in my opinion, when Dana watched it, trying to think of Dana, like how I watched the videos of him and stuff, I feel like he was annoyed that Caceres didn't put it on him a little bit more. I mean, I could be wrong. I don't know if Dana's talked about it.
You might be right, and somebody talking with us kind of is leaning towards your way too. He feels how you feel. He's 11-10 on UFC, so he still possibly could get cut, even though he made somebody a punch.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
it's not a good record. So I'll play devil's advocate with you two guys. I think you're absolutely valid in your opinions and points. But what I would say is that UFC's having some money issues right now, and they might be losing some stars. So a guy like Alex, a desperate guy, you might be able to use the advantage, especially if he's willing to bring it. Maybe a short deal, 2-3 fight deal, or maybe just like how sometimes they go with guys 1 fight at a time.
Yeah.
So I think he'll get at least one more shot, is what I argue.
Mike Jackson, that was him.
There we go.
Pablo Neal. I knew it was Mike.
How the hell that guy made the UFC? I don't know. That's a good question. Do you think you know the answer to that, Bill?
How do you get into the UFC?
Yeah. He paid somebody. He paid to get in.
Tell you that. I think he lost to Mickey Gall his first fight into the UFC. To be honest, I think he fought Mickey Gall and lost, and then they're like, "Let me throw Punk at him."
Let me just check the comments. All right, so guys, we're gonna show you some stuff. We're gonna talk about some things, and I'm gonna be flipping through the screens to make sure I don't miss your comments. So if you leave a comment, and I don't see it, I'm gonna be checking about every 30, 60 seconds. So with that said, Bill, let's talk a little bit about the 135 division, because this shit is crazy. It's like a murderer's row. Because Henry Cejudo retired, so the 125, 135 is open, and I don't know how it didn't dawn on me until UFC 250. But like, look at the potential we got here. Sean O'Malley, Aljo, Cody. They should be fighting for the title, right? But with that said,
Peter
from what
Yan.
I understand, that's what I was gonna get at. Is Peter Yan is scheduled to fight Aldo for the vacant 135 belt. So that means one of these guys got next. But you got 3 guys that are, honestly, you could argue they should be fighting for the belt right now. So I don't know what do you think, and how would you play this out? If you were Dana White, you got a problem right now. You got Petey Yan
I
fighting.
got too much money. If I'm Dana White, my problem is I got too much fucking money. I don't know what to do with it.
That's a good point. So with that said, so how do you play this out? What do you do with Cody, Aljo, and O'Malley?
O'Malley, if I was the UFC, if I was Dana White, I wouldn't throw O'Malley to the top of the heap too soon.
Okay.
I would keep what's O'Malley? Is he even ranked right now? He's not.
Well,
ranked
he should be now because the way he decimated Eddie Wineland. Eddie Wineland was ranked 4, so that puts him in the top 10 now. Where he is, I don't know. I checked the rankings today; they didn't update it yet, but he has to be. You can't beat the 4 guy and not enter 10. He may not jump to 4, maybe 6.
Eddie.
Well, that's what they. You know what? Let's double check that now because that's what they were saying on UFC 250 over and over. So if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and that's the UFC's fault.
You're wrong. I'm calling the cops on you, bro.
Nah, man. Yo,
the
UFC got me tight right now, making me look foolish. All right, let's find out though, to be exact.
Listen, bro. I know this is your podcast and all, but
yeah.
I'm gonna have to.
You're gonna have to cancel me.
Yo, Pablo, tell him, Pablo. Pablo knows everything.
All right, so let's see. All right, so he's not on here. Eddie's not even on here.
Yeah, it's okay.
Does anybody see Eddie anyway? You see, man?
Where's Eddie?
You see does it all the time. So I guess
he's ranked like, in the top 30. No, I'm messing with you, bro.
I mean, I always thought Eddie, like, just from, the rankings change all the time. But with that said, Eddie's looked at like a gatekeeper. And honestly, with his name, his record, I thought he was in the top 10. So it was a reasonable mistake, in my opinion, in my defense.
No. Yeah,
but it's all good. It's all
people
gravy.
Are calling. I've seen a lot of posts about Cody Garbrandt versus Sean O'Malley.
Yeah.
I think that's too. Not that I don't think O'Malley can do well and maybe even possibly win that fight, but I just think it's too soon. Don't throw your young guy to the wolves yet. I mean, I don't even know if I would give him. Maybe you give him, the guys that are in the top, 15. Maybe I mean I didn't even know John Dodson was still signed to the UFC. To be honest, so maybe throw him.
Oh, he's so tiny. O'Malley would knock him out. That would be a good fight. I respect Dodson, but
Dodson's quick.
I got a lot of faith in O'Malley.
I would still be building him. I don't care if the fans are saying, "Oh, you're giving him tin cans." You're not, if I was the UFC,
I'm one of those fans.
I would give him one more guy before you throw him into the before you throw him in the top 15. He's a young fighter. He's got a lot of room to grow, to mature, to build. I wouldn't throw him to the Lions too soon.
All right, so we got somebody on YouTube agrees with you. Sean fighting for the title. No way. He isn't even ranked. His only wins are like against top 20, 30 guys. All right, reasonable enough. I guess foot in my mouth because I was the guy hyped as fuck after 250. I'm like, Sean O'Malley needs a title right now. Because you know what? I see it. I see it in him. So
no,
he's coming. He's coming, guys.
I can't see him as
Eddie is on retirement rankings.
yeah, dude. Eddie's on his way out.
All right. So with that said, then so O'Malley, he's not in the mix. Sorry, O'Malley. You just got chucked. Take it up with Bill. I'm trying to find my screen. So sorry, O'Malley. You don't get a shot, even though like he had a whole like a post-fight interview. He was tight. He was feeling himself. Hold on, I gotta find the.
He's saying he's the best.
So with that said, I wanted to bring up Cody then. So then I guess what do you say? So are you saying Cody versus Aljo? Is that what you tell me?
That is
because that ultimately by the process of elimination, right?
Yeah. Because I mean, a lot of people are thinking that Aljo should.
What's up, buddy? Will Colazo. Good shit, boys. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Hold that thought. I apologize. I forgot to do a plug-in. I just wanted to hit a quick plug-in. UFC Smash Talk is powered up by MMABUG, but it's brought to you guys by MMA SMASH Podcast. So make sure you guys check out the official MMA SMASH Podcast on Facebook, MMA SMASH Podcast. That's on Thursdays. This is MMABUG Podcast. I know it gets confusing. That's where you can find this live stream and replays. So with that said, I apologize, Bill.
I'd also like to say that this program is brought to you by Michelob Ultra.
Yo, Michelob, don't sponsor me or cut me no checks, bro. I'm gonna blur that in the replay.
I got Michelob on my fight shorts, bro. This is personal. Use code name boobs at checkout.
This is my Michelob for today. Coffee. But I drink on some of my other podcasts. I get it in. Oh, look who's there. Stop playing. What's up, buddy? This kid right here. I like this kid a lot. Good kid. I train with him. Good dude. He's the future. He's coming. He's coming.
Sean Mendoza.
Yeah, good luck, Sean. Team
Sean
Campbell,
Mendoza, the
baby. That's
bulldozer.
my boy, man. He's I'm not even quite sure how old he is. He's one of those kids that trains with the adults. He's that good.
Yeah.
You know how that goes. He's definitely under 18. I'm not even quite sure how old he is, man.
Dude,
I don't know if you want to tell us your age.
I used to train with this kid named Mark at a that was in Fusion kickboxing, and I was probably 18, 18 or 19 years old, and he was like 17. Like I remember he was younger than me, and I would train with him, and this kid was a beast. He was such a beast, and he took a fight, and someone pulled out last second. Turns out someone was able to fill in for him. Like the kid was like 25 years old. This kid's 17 fighting this 25-year-old. They get out into the ring, like a minute in, dude. He cracks the kid with like an overhand right, and the guy looks at the ref, and he's like, "Nah, he hits too hard. I'm done. He hits too hard." And I was like, "Yo, Mark is a savage."
That's awesome to see live too. That's tappage to strikes.
Dude, he cracked him, and the dude turned his head. He looked at the ref. He put his hands up. He's like, "Nah, he hits too hard."
Yeah. Sean said he's 16. You hear that, ladies? He's 16. I don't know if he's single. Are you single? The ladies want to know.
The ladies want to know, bro.
You ladies want to know. All right, so let's talk about, because there's so much crazy shit going on right now. And to be 100% honest and direct, some of my favorite fighters are really pissing me off. Like really pissing me off. What is going on with Jorge Masvidal, Jon Jones, Conor McGregor? One thing I want to say that kind of upset me before we even get up to this is the lead up, the build up. We had fighters the past couple weeks. I'm doing these Smash Talks, and we're talking about all these exciting fights that we thought were going to happen because the fighters were announcing it on their personal social media. So it's reasonable to believe it. So we had Conor saying he was going to run it back with Nate. Then we had George saying he was going to run it back with Nate. Then George was saying he's booked with Usman for July. Usman started calling out Conor. I want to fight all these guys. They're pissing me off, man. Yeah. So give me your initial thoughts on that, and then we're gonna hear some of it from the horse's mouths. The horses being George and Dana. But I want to hear your thoughts on all that.
So I side with the fighters that they definitely need to get their fair share.
Okay.
These guys are going out there. How long is a typical UFC fighter's career? Even the best.
It's hard to say, but they say 3 to 5 years. They that's the number they put on it.
Say you're great. Say you're around for 10 years. After that, what do? You train people. You open up a gym. So I understand for these fighters, they have such a small window of time to make money, and the UFC makes so much money. It's not like the money isn't there to pay them. You know what I'm saying? So I think that I think their quarrels are valid in the sense that they need to get paid. They need to get paid. All right. As a fan, I'm frustrated for sure because I want to see them fight, and I don't want something to happen like what happened with the Diaz brothers, where there was so much potential, especially in Nate, where so much time was spent waiting to get the big money fight or waiting to get that, that big paycheck, where I don't think we got to see the best out of either of them.
Yeah.
And I would hate for that to happen to Masvidal. I'd hate for him to just, be on the sidelines for a year.
It's a really complicated scenario. I kind of just set you up, right? Because I wanted to hear your thoughts. But then I got some stuff to show you that may or may not change your mind. So it's going to be interesting. So before we watch that, I guess I'll give you my take on it. You know what I mean? I get asked this question all the time, and I talk about it with people all the time. My take is this, before we even get to like things that George don't mention, Jones too, and aspects that Dana mentions that are legit. But anyway, what I was getting at is that when you examine NFL, NBA, MLB, those are teams attached to large stadiums and multi-billion-dollar merchandise because it's attached to two major things that the UFC can never touch. It's attached to an entire city or state, and it's attached to a whole entire roster from multiple cities. So the point I'm getting at is that all the money they generate is not even from the fans per se. It's from people from the city like me. I bought mad New York shit just because it was New York, Mets and Yankees, this and that. I wear these shits and I walk around and people are like, yo, did you see whatever? And I think they should hire this guy. And I'm like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about because I don't follow the sport, but I wear the gear. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they generate billions of dollars a day. That's nothing. UFC makes hundreds of thousands, even millions, but it's not billions and it's not a day. You know what I mean? Even if sports is not on, all the sports make money every single day because of the gear they sell. Then if you compare their stadiums to UFC stadium, average stadium is 10 to 15,000. Their biggest events were 30K. The average sports stadium in other sports is 50K and up. That plays another major role. So it's almost complicated. So the major point I'm getting at is that the way the fight business is, I cannot honestly see how it could be run like a league or it could be unionized. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying the fighters don't deserve it, but how could they pull it off? How can it be done? Because in my mind, the fight business works good with the model of independent contractors. Everybody's responsible for their own negotiations and their own management. You got to make smart decisions. Like in the case of the Diaz brothers, made the mistake of they signed like 11 fight contract. Before all this, back when I used to do like music, that was one of the first things anybody with good advice had. And so when you sit down, you make a deal, make a medium deal or a short deal. Never make long deals because if you blow up, you're going to get to a point where you're going to want more and you're screwed. You're stuck in the contract that it is what it is. And that's what happened a lot with the Diaz brothers. So with that said, let's hear what George got to say, and then we're going to hear what Dana got to say. I'm going to pull that up. Feel free to say whatever comes to mind while we're doing so. You know what I'm saying? So with George, I'm going to read what George says, and then we're going to listen to Dana speak on it. But I'm going to read you some quotes from George. Hold on. Just let me clear this up. I'm working with one screen. All right. So I'm going to read verbatim a quote from Jorge Masvidal, the BMF champion, 170 UFC fighter, 170 division UFC fighter, welterweight. Basically, it's not that I'm asking for more money. It's that I'm asking for a bigger revenue share of what we bring in. I got a lot of questions, and one of them is NBA, NHL, baseball. They make, I think, 50% with the players of what the organization brings in. So he's referring to like the unionizing, you know what I mean? Making sure all of them get more money. That's almost impossible to do in a UFC setting. Also, too, UFC is spread out in over 700 countries.
Yeah, it's all over the world.
It's really hard to like just break all that down logistically. All right, so football, I think it's 47%. Mine is like 18%. He's referring to UFC. The UFC fighters get 18% of what UFC makes. So in that case, to be fair to George, you can argue that, maybe you can't compare them to making the amount the other sports make, but maybe there's more they should be getting. That's definitely an argument I feel is fair. That I don't know the answer to, but I could, wrap my head around it. So I have these questions in mind. Is it to put the cage up cost so much? The setup, what is it that costs so much? So that's what he said. Let's see if we got another quote. All right. The fighters that don't know that they are not educated might say different things. We don't get a percentage of the gate, a percentage of the t-shirts, none of that. So what does it matter for us? Why do I have to do my job at lesser rate? Now, if they were giving us 50% share or 40% of any of that stuff, it'd be a different ball game. Yeah, we can come to different terms like the NBA or other sports because of the things at hand, the quarantine and not being able to do large gatherings and not being able to have them. But we don't even have that. We're not even near that ballpark. Most of us will be happy if it was 30% coming back. It's not even that. It's less than 20%. I have these questions and I want them answered. And then he goes on to talk about Usman. He says, me and the UFC have been talking since the end of December about the next couple of fights. Numerous ideas got tossed around several times back and forth. I said yes to everybody they offered me. I said, yes, I will compete and fight against anybody you want. When it comes to the numbers, and a couple times we had differences, a couple other fights just fell through. On this current fight, they're just not wanting to play ball at all. They want me to take less money than I did on my last fight with Nate Diaz. Even though I'm fighting for a world championship, a lot of things just don't add up. Now, Jon Jones said the same thing. He stirred up all this stuff with coming to heavyweight and fighting Francis Ngannou. And then he complained that they wouldn't pay him more. So before I hit Dana, I'm gonna set you up again. Tell me what are your initial thoughts before I show you some more another piece of the story.
Yeah, I still think that they need to, either the UFC needs to work things around. I had the thought of cut the card in half. Like you watch a boxing fight, right?
Okay.
There's a boxing show. What do they have? Maybe 3 fights on the main card. Like you watch a Mayweather main card. Was there maybe 3 fights?
I mean, that's the main card though. They'll have a lot of other fights. Like boxing holds prelims now. Like I'm one of those guys that watch those prelims and fall asleep by the time.
Like UFC will run from what time to what time? From 8 o'clock to
yeah,
12
they
at
don't.
night.
Yeah.
I think if they cut it in half, right? Say they cut the amount of fights in one night in half.
Okay.
They can give their fighters, more money. I think if they had more pay-per-views, but had it at a affordable price, more people would buy it. Like
so smaller packaging, kind of. That's what you're saying. So
Yeah,
instead of average 12, 13 fights, like 6 fights.
Yeah.
Right
and
now,
someone
current
will sit
cost
there
is
and watch the whole
65.
thing. Like I'm not gonna tune in, no matter how big of a fan I am. I'm not gonna tune in to the early prelims.
Yeah.
And then watch all the way, for 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah. You see, the thing for me with boxing, in UFC, I don't fall asleep, right? But in boxing, I've watched some of the recent boxings, and I had to set an alarm to make sure I don't miss the main event. Because, UFC, I could watch 12, 13 fights. I can't watch 12, 13 boxing fights, to be honest with you. Because, the rounds are 7, 10, 12 rounds. You know what I mean? Well, typically not even 7. That's more like a local thing. When you watch the program on TV, it's at least 10 rounds.
So I think if they had,
So what would you charge? $20, $30, you saying?
I would spend, if it was $40, I'd buy it, even if it was just me watching. That's a little high, but I'd pay for it.
So do you think that would discourage streaming? Because that's a problem right now.
Yes.
Not only is the fact that they can't make ticket sales, they're getting, the streaming it's not being stopped or whatever.
And a lot of times it's a pain in the ass finding a stream. Like sometimes you get lucky, you get a good stream and it's crystal clear all the way through. But you jump on a stream, sometimes it's crystal clear. The main event comes, it cuts off, and it's skipping
more
and
traffic.
All that shit.
They send out the bullet.
Yeah.
They try to jam it.
So, if events where I'm already paying for the UFC, the ESPN Plus. If I'd pay $40, and if there was an event, if there was a pay-per-view every 2 weeks, I'd spend the money. I definitely would. If it was $30 and it was every week, I'd probably buy one every single week. I only bought the $65 pay-per-view because my fiance wanted to see the main event so bad.
I'm sorry, guy.
No, I'm rambling on, but I just think more people would buy the pay-per-view if it was just a little bit better price. $65, especially in today's times, is a lot of money, and people aren't really getting together and watching them in watch parties, because of what's going on. So I think people would stay home, order the fight, and if it was $35, $40, I think they'd see a lot more buys.
I definitely hear what you're saying, and it's logical everything you said. But as I'm hearing you say it, what comes to mind is the whole fact that right now, if you own the ESPN app, all right. So if you own the ESPN app, you got that, and you got the pay-per-views. Dana's plan is to hold an event every single week, so that means every week's event is quote unquote free. Because if you own the ESPN app, then it's free. The ESPN app is what, $10, $15 a month. So if you made an event every week, $30, we actually get less value. So your idea, if Dana hears it, you're screwing the fans.
No, I would say because there's still going to be the fight nights. No, because there's still going to be the fight nights. I'm just saying for
like additional, like a bigger, six fights, but 6 big fights.
Yeah, 6 big fights.
Okay, now we're talking like mini pay-per-views. I like that.
And then you'd have, since there's not as many fights, you have less people to pay, and you might be able to give them, some more money.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think. I think which a lot of people agree with. I think the real problem with MMA is fighters have a tough time making money outside of just MMA, where they're tied to that Reebok deal, And sure, they can be sponsored by some supplement company and post a few posts on Facebook and get some of that. But, you know, fighters made a lot of money when they were able to throw a name of a supplement company on their ass, you know, and they get, you know, tens of thousands of dollars. So maybe that's the solution. Maybe when the Reebok plan falls through, you know, let fighters, you know, make some more money as far as, or keep the Reebok pants, but let them throw 2 advertisers on there. You know what I'm saying?
There's so many variables, and it's so complicated. Like, there's a lot of things people don't know. Like, I'm gonna put you on to something that I know, but I don't fully even understand. But from what I understand, the UFC was paid by ESPN for 42 shows.
Mm-hmm.
So UFC got that money. So it was almost like they got honored the contract, so they don't have to pay the money back. So with that said, I don't even know if they're making money. They might just be breaking even or honoring the contract for, we know. I don't know how bad they're hurting from those ticket sales. There was a moment in time where you couldn't stream at all. Now streaming has become popular again. I know you said what you said, which holds true in many cases, but I also know a lot of people that be like, what are you talking about? I watch the streams all the time. And then I'll be like, you know, like, look, and they show me. Yeah. And I'm like, damn, I just paid for that shit. And they watch, you know.
Dude, I spent $65. I was playing with him. He's like, "Oh yeah, I got the stream. It's crystal clear."
So they got, so they got to be losing money. You know, they got to be losing money ultimately. So their pay-per-views ain't. So pretty much any ESPN shows, UFC makes no money. Period. They made money. I'm sorry to cut you off. They made money back when there was a crowd. Now there's no crowd. They make zero. You know, because everything goes to ESPN. All those commercials, from what I understand, that goes to ESPN. Because ESPN paid up front so they can keep the advertising.
But from what I also understand is the ESPN basically paid the UFC for pay-per-views ahead of time. So
yeah, that's what I mean. So
they get like 500,000 pay-per-view buys. The UFC gets paid no matter what.
Well, you see, now they call them all pay-per-views. When I discuss pay-per-view, I mean literally the UFCs, the numbered UFCs, the main ones, 249, 250 just happened. Everything else is pretty much a live stream on ESPN app. It's called the free show. It's considered a free show if you have that. So what I'm arguing is that the money they made on those shows comes from the ticket sales. You remove the ticket sales, they don't make money off all those commercials because that's why ESPN made the deal. ESPN said, listen, here's $2 million or some shit. Give us 42 shows and that's it. Don't ask them more questions. And, you know, they make the money.
Was making the money off the gate. That's what
I'm arguing. Yeah. Then on the pay-per-view, they're making gate money, pay-per-view money. And of course there could be some little extra, maybe sometimes they'll do something like we do all the advertising money, but we'll still give you 5%, you know, even though so maybe they get a little piece of it. But ideally what I'm trying to say is that they might not even be making money. They might be putting on these shows just to honor that contract. You know, they're trying to make money back from the initial sale when they bought it. That was like $2-3 billion when they bought it for City Brothers.
I think
they're trying to survive this pandemic and they got to honor the ESPN. Yeah, I think it might have been more. And they got to honor the ESPN. So with those things said, these guys want the more money is just unrealistic. I totally understand them, but I could see, in my opinion, they have no bargaining chips. They got no leverage to be.
Well, that's the thing,
bargaining right now.
You know, if they were truly contractors, then they'd be able to say, "Oh, I'm going to take this fight with Bellator. You know, they're going to pay me, you know, X amount of dollars, or I'm going to go fly over to."
Well,
One FC.
You're right about that, right? But we're in the pandemic. Nobody else is open. So that's another reason why they don't have leverage.
Bellator's not fighting. You're right. Bellator's not putting on shows.
And to be 100% honest with you, I know
Bellator's not putting on shows.
I know things about the inner workings at Bellator. And don't let Bellator fool you. They got no money. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, they give people
they're not going to afford.
Nobody watches Bellator, bro.
You know, and on top of that, another thing nobody realizes. These men are locked into contracts. They're asking for releases. So that means, let's say they're like, yo, I want 500 million and UFC's too stingy. But Bellator going to give me 500 million. All right, cool. But now Bellator got to give you 500 million to beat UFC's offer, and they got to buy out the rest of your contract. So they owe UFC a bunch of millions. So that means they need more than 500 million. They got to pay for your contract plus pay you what you feel you deserve. It's unrealistic. They're not open and they can't afford it. The only organization that could afford that is ONE FC. If the Japan's organization, they can afford it. If they start snatching them up, maybe like they did with Dimitri Johnson, but none of the other games. And then that's going to require them to go to Asia.
Why does that make sense?
Yeah, because I'm just like that. It's one of my good
Why
attributes.
can't you just wave the magic wand, give the fighters what they want, and we get
Yeah, so
fight?
they didn't think this through. I think because they definitely have points in how they feel valued.
I
Well,
think the UFC has made a lot of business decisions that benefited the UFC.
Yes. Let's see what we got here. I'm sorry to cut you off for 1 second. UFC will not renegotiate the Reebok deal. They're already looking for. Yeah, that's what I was going to say before, and I forgot.
The UFC. It doesn't help the fighters.
I'm making a prediction, and Nike is going to take the reins. But
the UFC would love for Nike to
I forget which one owns which one, but they literally one of them owns the other. Nike and Reebok are pretty much the same. But they make moves with their own money. But yeah, I don't think they're gonna renegotiate the Reebok deal. Definitely not. They're gonna have to negotiate a new deal with a new company to make some money because that new company sees money. But my assumption is Reebok was like, we made a mistake because I don't know anybody named right mind that bought a UFC kit. This shit is $100.
Yeah.
It was cooler when they used to buy, like you said, the gear that they had the different sponsors because it was a different looking shirt every time. I was one of those people. I'd buy a shirt every night.
Tell me not though. They have gotten better. Like you see, like some of the big name fighters. Some of the big name fighters will have
it's streamlined. Even though it's pretty, it's streamlined. It's just some colors and some letter palettes. The other stuff would have images, maybe slogans. They would bring a little extra to it that brought a feeling to you. Let's say, at least that's how I like when I like this shirt, for example. It was a different kind of logo. You know what I mean? Like there's differences, a lot of variety.
I think over time, like in the very beginning when they had those Power Ranger shirts, they definitely missed the mark. I mean, I bought one of those at the Reebok outlet for like $20. There was mad of them on the shelf for like $20 because nobody bought them, and like the original tag was like $80, $90. It was nuts.
Yeah, it's crazy. Way overpriced.
I think like you see Dustin Poirier's walkout shirt, like that was cooler. Like the top fighters do have a little bit more say, but I think they kind of
they revamped it and came out with some new designs. When it first came out, it was super generic. So they added more designs, but it still has a streamlined look. It has a certain look to it. You know what I'm trying to say?
And I think like the hardcore MMA fans that would be buying like the equivalent to someone who would buy a jersey, I think they know in a sense that Reebok is fucking over the fighters. And they kind of don't like ever since this happened. I kind of think Reebok's a little like, even though it's not Reebok's fault at all, they were just making a deal. They thought it'd be a good idea. In the back of my mind, I don't love Reebok because I feel like that they fucked over the fighters.
But they knew they was gonna do that. Like Reebok wanted that exclusivity. So you can't really defend them. Like you were saying, like, I know they didn't want to fuck the fighters. No, they did. They knew they was gonna have to give them something. But not that they sat there maliciously, but what I mean is that was a pot nobody was eating from. Who was eating from that pot was the fighters. Reebok said, I want that pot. Reebok thought people were going to buy the kits. So they knew to get their hands in it, they had to smack their hands out of the cookie jar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To do that, they say, okay, we give you something. The Reebok deal, honestly, I know it got so much hate, and which, before I say my comment, I want to put someone's comment because it made me laugh. The system is broken. Those contracts only favors the company. Dana was fucking smart. Bald pinkhead. What do you got against bald-headed people, bro? What did you say?
It's only pink bald heads, bro. Don't worry.
Yeah. That's true. Mine's is like light cream colored. So, ultimately, I'm one of those guys that I find out like all the behind the scenes shit, right? So I can say this confidently. A lot of people don't believe it. I don't care what they believe. It's the truth. But most of the people who had sponsors were getting fucked by their sponsors. If you knew fighters in the game, it was notorious. Most fighters, the sponsors would duck them. Because there was 3 types of deals you would get. You would get like I forget the exact breakdown, so I don't want to say now. But there was 3 types of deals you could get with the clothing companies. And the guy would decide which deal they want. But ultimately, what would happen is the companies would renege and they wouldn't give you shit. You know what I'm saying? And then it'd be a legal battle trying to get your money and you get nothing. What would happen is the top guys, their sponsors didn't play around because they had huge guys. It was everyone else. It was everyone from medium to the little guys. So what Reebok used to argue, and it's a good argument, is that, like you're going to get a guaranteed check. Mm-hmm. Somebody else might have said they offer you more, but they could be blowing smoke up your ass. We're gonna give you. So if the Reebok deal fucked anybody, it fucked the top guys because they were getting more than what Reebok would give them. But the Reebok saved everyone in the middle and the little guys. So it's kind of weird. It's hard. It's like a good and a bad thing. You know what I mean?
Interesting. I didn't think about that.
It's a good thing and a bad thing. It's complicated. But not to defend. You a cool ball guy. Thank you, bro. Thank you. Dana is not. That's fine. I still like Dana a little bit. I call him Uncle Dana, joking. But I don't offend him. People hate him, and they have their reasons. We all have our good days and our bad days. But with that said, let's watch what Dana has to say about all this. Let's let Dana defend himself. This video is a little long, guys, so bear with us. We're gonna watch it. Bill, if you have to add anything while watching it, feel free. I'll just pause it for a second, and which is good because if I play this,
I'm gonna just make fart noises every time he pauses.
That actually helps out because if I play this straight through without stopping it at least once, I could get into like copyright issues. So talking and stopping helps. I have to take my headphones off so you can hear what's being said, and so our audience can hear it. This is a weird thing with the software. All right, so let's play back. Let's see what he got to say about all these guys wanting money. And pal, listen closely, man. This is what Dana got to say. He's gonna try to defend himself. Oh, we gotta listen to an ad.
Took to social media just a little bit ago and said he's retiring. Here's a razor.
Hold on. How do I stop that ad?
That's so strange. The ad.
I'm gonna let the ad. Yeah, I'm gonna let the ad run out. I don't want to record the ad because that jingle could be.
Pick up
Once that ad is done, okay, there it goes. I can put the audio back up and I'll rewind it.
Feels this right now. He spoke to Conor McGregor. Took to social media just a little bit ago and said he's retiring. Curious if he spoke to you, if you guys knew something like this was in the works. He says he's done. So I'll remind everybody that we're in a pandemic.
Too. He's part of
the world is a crazy place right now with all these things that are going on. And, I think that everybody feels this right now. There's no fans, can't travel the fights around. I think everybody is pissed off, confused, been locked up in their houses for 3.5 months. People are wearing.
That's true. I'm feeling pissed off. I'm mad that George and Jones might be leaving us. But there's good news. Stick around. Watch what happens at the end of the video. He exposes some things we didn't know.
In mass, people are, there's protests, there's riots. The list goes on. And I don't know. I don't listen. If you don't think that what I'm doing right now is probably the hardest thing that I've ever done, and if you don't think that 3 times a day I throw my fucking hands up and I'm ready to say, you know what? Fuck this shit.
He sounds unbelievably stressed.
And the amount of people that I have gunning at me right now is insane. It's insane.
He pauses for a second. But that's so Dana White to bring it on him. He's like, well, how do you think I feel? I can't.
It could be a deflection. It could be a deflection. Is that
I don't think. I think that he's a very smart guy, dude. I think he's a very smart guy. And to be like, yeah, well, look at what I'm dealing with. I want to throw my hands up. I don't think it has so much to do with the coronavirus. I think if the coronavirus wasn't going on, I still think these fighters would be asking for this money. You know what I'm saying?
They would be asking for the money because they feel that's what's happening is that the fighters.
Jon Jones ain't locked up in his house. He's out on the streets trying to talk to homeless guys.
Yeah, with the spray can. So, the fighters are not considering the pandemic. And by not considering the pandemic, what I'm implying is they're not considering there's no money at the gate. So it's hard to go to your employer who's taking losses and ask for more, especially when Dana's going to get real. We got a couple minutes. It's an 8-minute video. We already went through one. Apologize for the length, but it gets really interesting. He starts talking about details of contracts and everything.
But here we are. This is our 5th fight? We pulled off our 5th fight. No other sports are going right now but us.
See, now he's making those points. He wanted to point out he was stressed. Now he's going to make a lot of good points that I made before with some extra stuff.
About this sport is you don't have to fight. This isn't the NBA or the NFL where you better be at practice. You better show up and do this. You better do that. You don't have to do anything here. And if these guys want to sit out and retire right now, or anybody feels
I apologize. Stop one more time. Can you hear it well? Because I have a new mic. I don't know if it captures.
No, you're fine.
Okay.
You're fine.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
cool.
it's actually it sounds great.
Awesome.
in any way, shape, or form with what's going on, you don't have to fight. It is all good. So if that's what Conor's feeling right now, Jon Jones, Jorge Masvidal, you know, I feel you. It's not like I'm going, holy shit, this is crazy.
That's the thing, Pat. You're gonna see. It's not about extensions.
Nothing is crazy and nuts right now because everything is crazy and nuts right now. So on a certain level, I totally understand it and get it.
He laid out a statistic that fighters get paid 18% of the revenue generated by the UFC. Are you able to address that, whether that's accurate and whether that's a number that could change, that he's saying fighters should get more of the revenue that's generated?
Being the financial wizard that he is, I'm assuming his numbers are correct. About Masvidal.
I'm gonna pause it for a second. I didn't hear
we just signed a new deal with Masvidal.
What'd you say?
I said that's fucked up. He was talking shit.
Take a shot.
He just signed a new 8-fight deal. He's got 7.
You heard that?
Yeah,
because I talked over it. Yeah, George Masvidal and Jon Jones literally just signed a fresh 8-fight deal. So technically, if Dana want to be a dick, it comes down to one of two things: fight for what I tell you, or don't fight, retire. But they can't fight for another organization unless they get bought out. That's how contracts work. I didn't know that their contract was fresh. I assumed they were somewhere towards the end because that's where normally guys start stirring the shit. But they're stirring the shit early. How do you sign an 8-fight contract, not one off, and be like, I want more money? Like, it makes no sense. It don't matter how big a star you are. You just sold your soul for 8 fights.
That's true. Mm-hmm. That's true. No, I agree.
7 fights left on his deal, you know? And my people were working with him and trying to get a deal done with him when he already has a deal. Jon Jones has like 7 fights left on his deal. He just signed a new deal less than a year ago. So, guys, you can say whatever you want about it. I have a deal. We just did a deal with both guys. This isn't one of those scenarios where, like, they've got some 3-year-old deal and it's like, oh, man, that was 3 years ago. I'm in a much different place. This was months ago.
Just going back to the Conor thing, you said that you're not surprised anything can happen right now.
Talks about Conor.
Did you hear from him personally about that? Or was that
no, one of my people grabbed me and showed it to me on social media.
Do you think Conor is telling the truth?
You know how Conor works.
He just wants the bank thrown at him, man. He wants the paycheck thrown at him.
But it's interesting because is Conor the guy worth it? Because the other guys, it seems like Dennis like, listen, Jones, listen, Masvidal, stop playing games. But Conor, watch how he talks like, Conor's going to do what he wants. I hope he comes back. Like, watch.
There's been a handful of people that have made this thing really fun for me. And Conor's one of those guys.
Conor McGregor.
The other day to somebody, when you look at the star power that Conor McGregor, the star that he became,
only a couple more minutes, guys. Sorry about that. Stick with us, viewers.
In places that had never seen it before or been interested.
I know you guys don't like his pinball head.
Every star that we've ever had has contributed a piece to building the sport and building this brand. Conor's been fun. It's been awesome. And he's got I heard some information today, which is funny that it was today. It's because of this deal that I'm working on.
Listen to what he said.
Proper 12 whiskey has sold an obscene amount of liquor, and I don't know what his financial situation is with that thing, but I would imagine he owns a good piece of it. Conor McGregor's not going to need any money anytime soon. He loves the fight. He's passionate about it, and he's got an incredible fighter IQ. But whatever his reason is, when a guy said, my feelings on retirement, when you say you want to retire, don't worry about it. You do your thing, man. And it's all good.
Hey, Dana, just to go into, O'Malley tonight even said he wanted more money and he was not happy. And so when you're looking at, Conor and Jones and Masvidal and all this, not one individual, but just collectively, does that do anything to the brand when you have all these people and all these notable names making those kind of comments?
Yeah, we've been here many times before. This isn't the first rodeo.
with one guy, not
No, that's not true.
one time.
Not true. We've been here before. This has happened to us before, more than once too.
Why do you think it's popping up at this time? Like, what is this causing it right now?
How the
I don't
hell
know.
do
Once
know?
one starts saying
I
it,
mean,
the
you're
other ones are like,
talking
"Hey,
to
me
the guy, so I
too."
assume you-
I'm not talking to him. I have no
I
idea.
heard this. Dana's funny.
And then I
So you want me to tell you why this is going on right now?
from
I love you.
I like
You
this
know
guy.
I love you, but that is a stupid question.
no, it's not.
That's what I
Such
say
a stupid
before I
question.
insult my friends. I love you. I'm about to do some disrespectful shit. Please don't.
Yeah.
But I love you. That's what I'm gonna say it.
You know what
No,
you're.
I see. I
Pandemic
definitely can.
is going crazy right now.
I'm sorry. What are you saying?
No, I could definitely see both sides of the argument. You know, from Dana White's perspective and from the fighter's perspective. But I just tend to side with the fighters more, just because I understand that they're taking damage, man. They're taking damage to the head, and nobody knows what it's going to be like in 20 years.
Absolutely. It's a high risk job. It's gonna have wear and tear. Lots of ups and downs. And you might not even make good money. Not, most fighters don't even make good money. It's one of those businesses that only the boldest and the most passionate people get into. And I don't mean people as a whole. That came out wrong. There's many passions and cultures and crafts. What I meant to say is that if you're gonna literally pursue fighting as your future, your professional career, you're taking a major risk that probably won't work out. It's almost like people who try to get into music and try to become a musician or an artist. Most people will fail or not make tons of money. So you got to really love the shit to do it, is what I'm ultimately getting at. And I just said it wrong and I insulted many people. Hopefully people won't take it wrong. So we're going to play the last 2 minutes of this video, and then we're going to get off of this video. And I got some highlight pictures to show from UFC, and we'll talk a little bit about that before we go.
And
You got some more time? You got about another 20 minutes to give me?
Yeah, that's cool.
Sounds good. All right.
all these guys are like, well, I want more money too. I want more money. But let me tell you what's going to happen. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. I'm going to predict the future here. Most of the media in this country is going to get laid off in the next several months. And that's going
I don't know what that is, but I sound like him talking to Trump, and he got some like inside information. Trump's like, bro, I'm firing half the world. I'm sick of all this shit.
to be a big, and everybody wants more money. And nobody wants to get laid off. And all these crazy things are going on in this world right now. Nothing is normal right now. Everything is crazy. And I am the only guy that is pulling off sporting events right now.
Right.
And
I get that,
but you're asking me a question. I don't fucking know. I can't tell you what's going to happen in the next fucking month with my business. I don't know.
But they're not asking about you, Dana. They want to know about the fighters.
What I do to keep the bus on the fucking highway here, the train.
I guess what he's trying to say, in his defense at the moment, because that's literally how I've been waking up every single morning. The world is so crazy that me as a person, I'm not even running an organization like him. I live in week to week. Every day something major is occurring that who the fuck knows what anything's going to be like 2 weeks from now. This 2020 has been a fucking hell of a ride.
On the tracks or whatever you want to call it. I don't give a fuck. If people don't want to fight.
That's how I feel lately too. I just don't give a fuck no more about shit.
You don't have to fight. If you're afraid of COVID-19, stay home. If you're fucking, whatever your deal is, you don't have to do it. I couldn't explain to you anything that's going on planet Earth right now. And neither can anybody else.
Did you this thing from Conor seemingly out of
approaching the
he's
last
retired
minute.
before.
Sorry guys, hang in there.
But had you seen this coming? Like, had you had any conversation with him that would indicate he might be planning to do something like this?
He's been wanting to fight. He's frustrated because he wants to fight. I'm sure that is a piece of it.
And the no fans, you can't have him fight. Is that a
No. It's not that we can't have him fight, but who do you want to fight right now?
Okay.
You fight Ferguson? I mean, you want to fight, he had called out Masvidal. Okay. Who do you fight right now? And where do we fight Conor McGregor right now? Fight Island isn't even up and running until July. Mm-hmm. So if you look at all the problems to run a business like this, multiply it by a fucking million. And that's where we are right now.
And then
so And there's a lot of other shit that goes on behind the scenes right now that, you know, it's a wacky time to be the first guy putting on live sports when a lot of fucking people who are nutty as hell didn't want you to.
Yeah, speaking of, when he first started doing his fights, people were literally like mad at Dana, talking about, oh, he don't care about the fighters and this and that. I mean,
the fighters wanted to fight. I mean, come on.
Exactly. And did you see that story about Jacare in the very first one that they started with? I believe it was 249. Oh, the house.
Yeah, what happened with Jacare? He's fine?
Well, I wasn't even referring to the COVID situation because apparently he tested positive for COVID, so he couldn't fight. But what I was referring to is that afterwards he was interviewed and he went on record to say that the only reason he fought is because he's going to lose his home. These fighters need to fight, and there's some fighters that want to fight in spite of everything going on in the world. So it's a silly and odd statement to say that, you know, he's doing it because he don't give a F about the fighters. The fighters are going to do what they want. He's not forcing nobody to appear. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, let me go up ahead. Let me see what it says here. Sport is growing. Some guys making good money, others not so. 20 years, the money that they're making today, they will look at that money like, yeah, it's true. I talk to old UFC veterans all the time, you know, just because I get lucky enough to have conversations with them. And it sucks, man, talking to these guys because they're part of our greatest memories, but they're not rich and they deserve to be rich. It's almost like, damn, it's crazy to be on top of the world and be a part of, you know, a pioneer. And not all of them are rich, you know. NBA started like
Chuck Liddell and Tito Ortiz are still trying to keep fighting. They're still trying to keep making money.
Yeah,
you know,
and then we go back even further.
They weren't able to do like the TV appearances, like especially Chuck. I feel like he does a lot of TV appearances and like reality TV stuff because he's trying to get paid.
That probably has money because he used his name and likeness to continue to work. You know, like some of these other guys may or may not have got the same opportunities or thought to do the same thing. And it's almost like a tragedy. Like, damn, you know. They really deserve to get a piece of the pie.
10 grand a fight, you know,
because they took the same risks as the people now, and they're not making that paper. With that said, though, tell me your thoughts real quick on UFC Island coming in July. How excited are you about that?
I think that's pretty dope. I think that's pretty crazy that they have that. But I keep thinking like, yo, what happens if there's like a storm or something like that? I feel like this island.
That's the one thing I thought about. People are like, you know, what about COVID? And I'm like, listen, they don't give a fuck about COVID. That's why they're there.
Like all that nature, like that shit gets hit with that shit floods.
All right, can I say something? And I almost don't want to say it out loud without knocking on wood because I'm superstitious. And hurricane season is coming. They're on the island, you know. Let's just hope for the best. You know what I'm saying? But I know that they're fighters, and fighters take the whole job of being a fighter is taking a risk. We take risks every time we go to train. You take risks every time you step in the ring, the octagon. So I'm sure they're going to take those risks. But I'm concerned about that. You know, they become trapped, stranded, tsunami. That shit is scary.
I just don't know how long it's going to last for. You know, like what happens when people want to start getting back into stadiums? You know, we're going to fly people out to the Fight Island? Or
that's what I was thinking about. How cool would it? That's the next step. That's the best case scenario. How cool would it be to go on vacation?
Take a vacation to Fight Island?
They got a resort. You hang out for a week. At the end of the week, they top it off with this mega event. I would pay for that shit. I'd sit on the beach, drink martinis or something, or whatever the fuck they drink on the beach. I'll have a good time. So I want to show you some pictures, and then we're going to wrap it up in 10 minutes.
That's interesting, too.
Fighters go to hospital. All right, good question. I got the answer to that. UFC Island is literally going to come with anything you would need in life. It's going to have anybody ever been on a cruise ship? On a cruise ship, they literally have a hospital ward. They have a prison ward. If someone needs to be arrested on a cruise ship, you best believe your ass getting arrested. They lock you in a little cage they got in the basement, and then when you go on land, they drop you off. I assume it's going to be the same thing. And Dana has already confirmed there's going to be living quarters. There's going to be training facilities, hotels, private jets. They're going to be flown in private. Everything's taken care of. Yo, he said if these guys want to fly in a month early and live on the island, they're more than welcome to. He's setting up everything. He's not going to need nothing for nobody once it's fully done, unless a fucking hurricane comes and wipes it out. So, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Yep. So with that said, I just want to pull up one last thing and we'll wrap it up. Back to UFC 250. Let's just talk about some exciting moments and how it felt. So first, let's talk about the two spectacular knockouts of the night. Which one do you think is better? If you want to even go that far, because I love both.
Which one is better? I think just based off of the caliber of fighter, I think the Cody Garbrandt knockout is more impressive in my eyes. I mean, I think O'Malley was supposed to knock out Wineland. I mean, he's an older guy. The knockout was amazing. Ever since I saw the fight, I'm always messing around trying to practice faking the uppercut and coming over the top.
Nice,
that was awesome what he pulled off. I think as far as technique wise, I want to give it to O'Malley, but I think Cody's is more impressive.
Okay, yes. I was gonna say everything you just said in different words. So yeah, I was just gonna use different words. Like I was gonna say impressive and spectacle. Cody's shit was like a bigger spectacle because excuse me, the fact that it happened on the bell, that's just nuts. In fact, I could argue it was slightly late. Not late on Cody. Cody fired a shot on the bell, clearly. But it's almost like the shot landed, the split second the bell ended. And then can't continue. So that counts as a win. That was breathtaking. Like my heart just stopped. Everybody's heart stopped.
All the way down.
Yeah. Impressive wise, Malley was more impressive because Malley, like you said, he had to set it up with the feint. Mm-hmm. He had to have the accuracy, the explosiveness, and the timing. In the case of Cody, it was almost like Rafael became overzealous. Like I watched that a few times. Cody saw the big overhand, ducks, and Rafael doesn't take the bait. But then Rafael loads up the huge loopy shot again, and then he ducks again. Power level change, comes up with the classic. You know what I mean? Like that look on his face was beautiful.
And I think a big part of it too was that it was the end of the round, and he's probably starting to relax. Oh my goodness! Like look at that.
But the connection was meaner on Cody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
O'Malley was a sniper.
Cody
He hit
harder.
Cody decapitated a man. That's
how perfect it is. How his elbow is right behind like the fist, and he came straight across.
Yeah. Look at the shoulder. The chin coming slightly over the shoulder. He literally. That's a decapitation without taking it clean off. You know what I mean? That's blunt force trauma. The head went where it was supposed to go. Things got shook up. O'Malley caught him right on the chin and caused that little mini car accident inside the brain. You know what I mean? But in either case, we saw dead bodies. Both men went dead bodies.
Yeah, Wineland was out for a long time.
What do you think about Cody? Because Cody's before this big win, Cody was on a 3-fight knockout winning streak. And I was popping a lot of shit saying Cody got no chin. I thought Cody was going to lose. And I was wrong. Cody is back. So what do you think about that? Do you think he's back? Because I argue that he's going to have a down and up career from this point.
No, I think Mark Henry was a good change for him. He looked like he was a lot more patient. I also did think it was a little funny how he was talking shit about TJ going to another camp.
Yeah.
And that's what Cody had to do. I mean, I know he said that he still keeps ties and Holdsworth was still in his corner, but I was like, you were talking all that shit about TJ leaving, and now you left and you look sharp. I mean, he looks great. I do think. Do I think he's going to get the belt again? I mean,
that's how we narrow the question now. Do you think he'll get that gold again? That's a good way to narrow it down. Thank you for that. So that's my question. So do you feel how I feel? Because a lot of people are like, man, Cody, he's here. He's the real deal. And yes, he is. He's all the things people say he is. He's on another level. But he holds his chin high. You saw that in the fight, even though he's still composed. He didn't get overzealous. He didn't overreach. He didn't overlean. He didn't get into,
not like the biggest knockout striker. He's not really. He's a well-rounded fighter. But I mean, let me know if I'm wrong. But he's not a.
No, he's not. He has some knockouts, but he's not known as a knockout artist. You're 100% right about that. And I got to play some type of that got to be a variable to consider, So with that said, he fights a guy like Aljo, or he fights O'Malley, or he fights or the winner of Aldo.
I'm thinking of it. I think it's very possible he could become champion again. I do think so. I mean, I don't know how bad. I mean, getting knocked out.
What about against Peter Yan?
To be honest, I don't know too much about Yan.
Out of those guys, you know who I think is the most likely to get the belt? Aljo, Peter, or O'Malley, believe it or not. O'Malley got this kind of striking that I know he got more to prove. People say he got more to prove, and they're probably right.
I think in time, you're right.
He's going to prove it because that kid is definitely on another level. He just needs some more things to learn. Aljo really turned his game up. Aljo is not the same Aljo, and he's getting better and better. And that jiu-jitsu display he put on is kind of intimidating. I mean, it was almost like there was no stopping him from getting your back, getting your neck. Oh, it was a wrap. The guy did everything you could do. He just fell in from one. He defended one trap for the next trap. Like I know you're a striker. I don't know if you follow jiu-jitsu like that, but that was extremely high level jiu-jitsu.
No. I
extremely. It didn't look like much, but it's on wizard level. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I know. He's a nasty grappler. Yeah. He's slick. I mean,
I want to see Cody fight Marlon. That's what I want to see. To be honest.
Oh, that's what I was just trying to get
That'd
to.
Be a fun fight.
I was just gonna try to get through that because that's what I was thinking.
Beat you to it.
Yeah, no, I think Cody versus Marlon Moraes would be an amazing fight. They're both so fast, and to be honest, I think Cody
a good matchup for Cody. Yeah, that's a good matchup for Cody. Because honestly, if I think Cody fought O'Malley, I think O'Malley wins. If Cody fights Aljo, I think Aljo wins in the end. But Aljo could get caught. But I think Aljo will fight in a certain manner. He's going to avoid the trading.
I don't think O'Malley
Aldo versus Cody.
O'Malley beats Cody today.
What was that? I mean, fair enough.
I think in a year from now, O'Malley can. I think he needs a little bit more
right now. Well, I wish we could see them fight because I think he can do it right now, dog. I think he definitely put one down the fight. He's such a sniper. He's gonna see a hole. O'Malley's the kind of guy he needs less than a half a second to see an opening, and not just see it, but in that same amount of time, he's gonna plug it. That is something you're born with, and you either got it or you don't. What do you think of this pose right here? That's like oh my God, one of the most brutal knockouts I've ever seen. I know you've been at a lot of the local shows. We've been there together watching fights. We've seen a lot of knockouts. Still, this is one of the worst I've ever seen. This is, man. Just the way, when your limbs go that, when all four limbs, you're so deeply concussed. We're almost done. A couple more pitches. I just want to make a note of Alex Perez. That clinic he put on for Maga, I would say it wrong, was amazing. It's his second leg kick knockout, so obviously we're fixated on that. But his hand display, his boxing was beautiful that night. What did you think of his boxing, bro? I feel like anytime he wanted to touch for Mega, he did. Plain and simple.
Yeah, no, I didn't know too much about him before this fight, and he definitely put me on notice. I mean, he looked sharp, bro.
And those leg kicks, you see how Formaga just tried his absolute hardest to take it, and he couldn't take it no more.
Yeah,
Aljo with the quick work here, crazy. He looked so happy. He was so hyped, bro. He was so hyped.
Oh, did you hear him in the interview when he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna come on that ass." I mean,
that had me dying because I feel like when you try to fix it, you make it worse.
Yeah.
So, as a person who does a lot of live streams and interviews, I fuck up all the time. And I notice when you fuck up, the best thing to do is just keep on rolling. You know what I'm saying? Pretend you didn't say it and live with it. I've said shit that I'm like, damn, that sounded pretty gay, and I just roll with it. I don't say pause. He said pause. Yeah. So when he said that, I just laughed because I'm like, damn, just flowed with it. Nobody even thought in that manner. Because as a fighter, you would say that. I'm coming for the ass. I don't think it's gay to say that. You're saying, I'm going to beat your ass. That's how I take it. So when he said that, that's when, it wasn't gay till he said pause. Then pause. Like, oh, yeah, because he said pause. So with that said, we'll take this 5 more minutes out and we'll wrap this up. Thank you so much for being on here. Normally it's not this long, but you're a good conversationalist, so we ran a little longer.
No worries, man. I understand.
Normally this is a short show of 30 minutes, 45 minutes. So what do you think of this whole Felicia, Amanda? It was a very one-sided fight. Just give me a thought on that.
I think that her corner could have arguably threw in the towel. I think when they're going into the 5th round, he's like, all right, let's go back to the game plan. Yeah. And, Cody and Moraes are teammates now.
Yeah, I saw that, and I was going to put it away. I didn't realize that. So that was good to know.
You're right.
Don't forget about me, guys. I like the reaction. Yeah, sorry about that. We go in and out.
Pablo knows his shit, man. Damn, yeah.
See what he says about TJ, and then get back to your thought. TJ was lying. No, he said he wasn't going to leave and then went to Colorado and wanted to come back for training and sparring when he wanted. Basically lied. You know what I always wondered? Cody also threw TJ under the bus about the steroids issue. And he says, you know, TJ was the guy that taught all the guys how to mask steroids. So does that mean you did steroids, Cody? You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So that's interesting. What's up, man? Mega Man, thank you for popping on the show. I didn't notice you before. Apologize. A lot of things are going on. Cody can't take the pressure of being a champion. I agree, too. With that said, though, I think Mark Henry is the guy that he needed to clean his thoughts up in his head. He definitely was able to connect with him mentally, which is why I think he left. He needed someone to ground him. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
So with that said, back to what you were saying about say what you were saying. I apologize.
No. I don't know if it's so much the pressure of being a champion. I just think he thought he was untouchable. Like the way he beat Dominic Cruz, I think he thought like, oh, my shit don't stink. I'm the best thing to ever come into the UFC. I'm 11-0. You know, I think that had to be part of it, and I think him getting humbled, as long as he didn't take too much off of his chin, you know, because that's something that you really never get back. I think it could have been for the better. You know, maybe without that last knockout. I don't think he needed that last one. That one was bad.
Yeah, he suffered 3 in a row that were literally the first strike thrown, the first strike connected in the first minute, which makes me believe his brain did get the curse. You know, when you get that knockout, you just never seen. And then couple that with his he's chinny. His chin is hot. He cleaned up his brawling aspect. In the last 2 fights, he got into those heated brawls and left his chin exposed. Now he's not doing that. He's fighting composed. And he's being selective.
His combos, moving, touching, going.
Yeah, but he's an amazing fighter. He's so crisp. It's amazing to watch.
Quick.
He's definitely one of the guys that not many guys will be able to touch that grace when he's able to turn it on. So back to the Amanda Nunes and Spencer.
Yeah,
what do you
I
think
think
is the future for both of them?
Yeah, I think when they were going to the 5th round and Spencer's corner is like, yeah, go back to the game plan. It's like, yo, the game plan's not working. He was saying like, I need you to come out with a flying teep. He's like, I need you to come out with a flying teep. And I'm like, yo, what are you telling this girl?
I didn't even catch that. I didn't realize that.
That's
insane, dog.
Like,
that is so crazy.
Like
that girl had no energy. She was so damaged.
What like she's a tough girl. Like, but at that point, you just throw in the towel. You're not gonna win. You know?
Yeah, definitely. Cody's new chin is his beard. That's what my fiance said when I was watching it. Spencer was not ready, unfortunately, which kind of made the fight kind of boring. I hate when the champion doesn't get pushed to their limit. But that said, though, much respect to Felicia Spencer, because I'm kind of a huge fan. I like the girl's personality.
Yeah.
I did like her fight style.
I like the walkout song too.
Yeah, but she's just not on the level Amanda was. Amanda's the greatest all time as far as the females are concerned.
And smile and kick your ass at the same time.
Yeah. So what do you think now with Amanda Nunes, before we go? What do you think is the future for her? Because she cleaned out 2 divisions. Like, she almost kind of hurt the UFC by being so damn good.
Just keep feeding her. Just feed the woman.
Who you gonna feed her though? I don't think anyone's left. And at this point, you almost got to pay someone to fight her, because it's like,
I'm sure she'll fight like Megan Anderson next or something like that.
Yeah,
you know,
that's like the only person you could think of.
Valentina fight down the line. I mean, I'm not
interested in that. They fought twice already, and that was the kind of fight. It's so weird because I am a gigantic Amanda Nunes fan, and Valentina, they're like on another level, better than all these other girls. I think Valentina's literally second best fighter, but when they fight each other, they make boring ass fights. Did you see the first 2 fights?
Yeah, because they respect each other so much, and they're both so good they cancel each other out.
Yeah, you know, I just feel also too Amanda's too big for Shevchenko, where their styles won't even matter. Just size and strength is too crazy.
Like when Shevchenko fought Joanna, it's like Joanna's just not big enough, doesn't have the power, you know, to deal with Shevchenko.
Yeah, you know, I almost forgot about that fight because right after that, Joanna showed, you know, original Joanna with that Zank fight. Crazy.
That Zank fight, I think, is my favorite fight of all time. I've been telling people that. I'm like, my favorite fight of all time was a woman's fight because it was back and forth. Joanna probably could have won it, maybe. You know, she was landing a lot of good strikes. I mean, volume wise was up there, but man, Zhang Weili, man.
Yeah,
hits like she
amazing.
can knock out a cow, bro.
Yeah, I was following that girl since the amateur days, and no lie, I've told so many people before she even got in the UFC. I said, "This girl right here is the next UFC champion. I promise you that." And I ain't gonna lie,
bro.
yeah, and I ain't gonna lie. This is something I'm really proud of. I predicted every champion there ever was. So I'm telling you, O'Malley's gonna be a champion. We'll see. Mark my words, buddy.
Let me say something nice about me then.
Yes, definitely. You got champion material. That's definitely, you know, I don't know about your age. I'm not gonna ask. Just fucking with you, buddy. I'm too old. I started this late, which sucks because I love this so much. I wish I could have did it younger. Because
I'm 25. I got
you got some time. You got plenty of time.
If I got started right now, I think I'd be okay.
See, I started in my 30s, so for me, it's just amateur level. I just fight amateur. You know, I'm not gonna be able to do the pro. But yeah, at 25, if that's something you want to take it, I definitely think you got the skills. That's one thing I definitely think.
Too lazy, man.
It happens, brother.
That guy that just talks about the what ifs.
So you're gonna be a professional podcaster now. You're gonna join the ranks, the army.
Yeah,
I want to recruit you to my army, dog.
yeah, the podcast army.
All right, so we're gonna wrap this up. With that said, we're just gonna hit our plugins. Thank you for joining us today. And in the future, because you brought up the thing on Joanna's head, I wanted to do this episode of MMABUG where I bring on like a panel of like 5 fighters and we talk about gruesome injuries. And I was gonna pull up all the best injuries from ears blown off to like, you know what I'm talking about? Lots of other stuff. So I guess I'm asking you right now. I'm gonna put you on the spot. Would you be one of the fighters I could bring on for that episode?
Let me know, bro. I had a good time, man.
Beautiful. We'll talk more about it in the future. With that said, give everyone your plugs, and we're gonna be signing off.
I'm on Instagram at Billy Brenos. That's like my personal account. You'll probably just see pictures of my kids and appreciation posts of my fiance. So you can find me on Brenos Boxing, also on Instagram. Look up Brenos Boxing on Facebook. I'm there too. Follow me on Facebook, Bill Hirsch. Say what's up. Let me know what you thought. And Billy Brenos on PlayStation.
Yeah, Twitch, right?
Yeah.
Got you. So is that the same name for the Twitch?
Yeah, I'm Billy Brenos everywhere, bro.
Billy Brenos. Yeah, that's what I
send me BillyBrenos@gmail.com. Send me some emails or something.
Yeah, I needed to put everything together, but I have like some differences. But with that said, any fans on Billy's side, if you haven't already, please hit like follow for MMABUG at facebook.com/MMABUG. Also, if you guys want to see the replays, if you like YouTube, we're also on YouTube. So please hit subscribe at MMABUG TV. And with that said, don't forget our sponsors, MMA SMASH Podcast. The official podcast is every Thursday featuring myself, Will Collazo, and UFC veteran Chris Cope. Today was UFC Smash Talk number 4. Special guest, Billy Brenos, Bill Hirsch. Thank you so much, man. It was a pleasure to have you. We're signing out, guys. Have a good one.
Peace.